This is my first attempt at one of these zipper bags. It's a Sally Tomato one, but I kind of changed it a bit. I wasn't so keen on the way it was made, or at least probably I didn't understand the instructions properly. She has 2 zips, I've got 3 on one side, and on the other side I've got another zip there, another zip on the other side, and I've basically done it with a two lobster catchers and a strap that goes around, and inside. And because this was the first attempt, I didn't want to waste any good material, so there's just some cheap fabric in as the lining for the pockets, all the same, different colours basically. One's white and one turquoise, a white there, and on the other side is a turquoise as well. It's this is laminated fabric that I got from Dunelm. I don't know what kind of fabric they sell it for, probably for tablecloths, but I thought I'd try it, and basically I put my little label on there at the top on the strap instead of on the bottom.
Way.
Hot dog covered in cheese, carrots, and a croque monsieur. It's been a long journey, hasn't it? Is that a false smile? Are you tired? Well, this is a step back in time. The male toilet, the female toilet in the station of Angoulême. 20 years ago I came across something like this. Didn't expect it in the 21st century. Now to get out I've got to press the button. Press the button and push the door. I've just been into the. I've stepped back in time to the loo. It's the one with a hole in the floor.
We haven't got any decent loos.
Hi everybody, it's Micheline from michoumakes with another vlog. This time it's a vlog a little bit more about my holiday and a little bit less about sewing, but there is a couple of pieces about sewing in to start with. You'll have seen the one that I did, a bag that I did for my sister. It's that way. A bag that I did for my sister, or is it that way? One way or t'other. I made a bag. I didn't actually make it for my sister. I was just trying it out, and I thought when I'd finished it, I thought, oh, I'll take it with me as a little present. When you get our age, you don't really need much, so she was thrilled to bits with it. The weather was unbearable by our standards, 34 degrees. I don't sweat, unfortunately. I don't sweat. I just go bright red in the face, absolutely bright red. I've done that all my life. When I used to play hockey, I was a keen hockey player, and when I used to play hockey, by the end of the game, everybody used to say, "You look like a beetroot, you look like a beetroot," because I was so bright red, and oh, it's just unbelievably hot. My sister has adapted to it a lot better than me because she's lived there since she was 26. She married a Frenchman, and she's been there ever since. So I haven't seen her. She came to England last year, and but I've never been to her house to see her for, I think it was about 3 years ago. Sorry about the wobble, the cat's just jumped onto the table, and I've got you precariously balanced on top of a box. And the cat's looking up. I think she's going to jump up onto the box. No, she's not. Don't climb up there, Missy. Anyway, my sister, oh, you can't get up there, come on. Sorry. My sister lives in Angoulême, and we went down to see her. That's just sort of 2/3 of the way down France, and she lost her daughter when her daughter was 32 years old in a car crash. Fortunately, she had children, 2 little grandchildren that were 7 and 4 at the time. They're now 18 and 20, so or thereabouts. So she's been. It was her only child, but she did have 2 stepchildren by her husband's first marriage, and they are French and they look after her very well. Her husband died a few years back with lung cancer, never smoked in his life, but he was what you call an ebonist. He made antique furniture, and they weren't sure if it was the fumes and stuff that he used, the polishes and the waxes and the resins that he used, that had caused it, or whether it was just the stress from losing his daughter. When he died, my sister was about 70, she's now 75, 71 or 70, she was about 70, 71, and she's now 75. She has not sunk into the ground and curled up feeling sorry for herself. She's remarkably picked herself up and started to form a choir, a ladies' choir in France. And they sing all sorts of songs, from folk songs to American songs to you name it, they do it. And at the moment they're busy doing they're doing something to do with America, and it's going to have a song from West Side Story, and it's going to have Titanic song in, it's going to have Somewhere Over the Rainbow, it's going to have several songs, and she's getting them all to sing that. She also plays the banjo in 2 folk bands and teaches them people to do the turns and whatever, in the dances in barn dancing in France, and she loves it. She has a menagerie of a Vietnamese pot-bellied pig, a black dog that looks a bit like Scooby-Doo, and that apparently was offered to her not long after her husband died, where somebody couldn't control it and would she take it. And she's smaller than me, and she took this dog. It was unmanageable, but she took it for lessons, and it's a lot better now, but still quite a handful if it pulls her. And she's also got a little turtle that her granddaughter gave her about 8 years ago. It was a tiny little turtle, and now it's a big one. And I'll put little videos up to let you see that. Who's making that noise? Is that Putty making a noise? Nobody's giving Putty his tea. Hello, Putty. Hello. How are you? How are you, Putty? Have you
allez, viens. Viens. What are you doing out there, Putty? Come on then. Come on. Oh, poor Putty. Poor Putty. Poor Putty. Are you giving the kisses? You're giving Putty kisses. Oh. You're giving Putty kisses.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Come on then, Putty.
T'as pas eu ton dîner?
Come on, Putty. Hello. Are you coming? He's lost weight. Jacqueline,
Yes, he has lost weight. Deliberately died, isn't it?
you've been on a diet.
He's on a diet.
Are you on a diet, Putty? Can you see now? Can you see now, Putty? Eh? Can you see, Putty? Hey, can you? Can you see? You're jealous. Your big brother's jealous. Can you see? And look at those teeth. Just look at those teeth there. Hey, Putty. Look at those teeth, Putty. Aren't you lovely? Oh, look at that lovely Putty. Aren't you nice, eh? Here comes his dinner. Look at all his dinner there. Sometimes he doesn't like what I give him. Sometimes he says, go away. Leave me alone.
My dinner.
My dinner. Don't you pinch my dinner.
Don't you touch my dinner. Gotta have lots of water though, haven't we? Lots of water.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
my dinner.
What? This little turtle is about 8 years old. Was given to her by her granddaughter as a present. Spent a lot of time in a tank, but for some reason it doesn't like being in the water in the tank now. So it likes to be out of the tank, and so it gets a couple of hours in the sink on a morning in the bathroom sink, and then it wanders around the bathroom and hides underneath a chest of drawers for the rest of the day. And it's called Tut Tut. On day one, she took us to this. It's on the edge of Angoulême, and it's a second-hand place, a massive place, almost as if it's on a farm. And it was a second-hand place that sold. They had different sections. One was a big hall with clothes, another one with furniture, another one with electrical goods, another one with cars. They sold cars and things, and you name it, they sold it. Then they had a vintage section, which didn't have much in it when I went. But then they had a haberdashery section. I've just done a quick recce round the place, as we would say. I would love to have spent a lot more time there, but unfortunately with being I didn't want to keep everybody waiting too long. But the haberdashery was lovely. Wasn't so much fabric there. To be fair, it was Friday, it was a busy day, the place was chock-a-block. I have been before when it was quieter, and I reckon the best bits had already gone. I did buy 2 pieces of fabric while I was there. One was this is the offcut that's left. It was about 1 metre, and I'm busy making a blouse out of it, so that's one piece that I had. I think that cost me about €1.50, which is about £1. And then this one, which cost me about €2 or €3, I think it was. And this is like a polyester crepe, very nice. It's about 1.5 meters folded there, 1.5 meters. And I've never had red. I don't make much in red, so it'll be fun to see what I turn out with this.
Elle est là.
Who, me?
You're like Dad in a DIY store. Can I keep up with you?
Haberdashery. Haberdashery. Are they handkerchiefs? Handkerchiefs, lots and lots of handkerchiefs. Tapestries. Buttons, threads. Aren't they lovely? Threads.
Hanky.
Embroidery threads. Lots of tools. Putting things into. Knitting needles. Masks.
What's that, a mask? Got knitting needles everything.
Knitting needles. Buttons. Oh, look at all these lovely buttons. And all the cones. Buttons.
Remember Auntie had lots of buttons just to play with them.
Yeah, I used to love the buttons. Wow. Cottons. And then,
Some material down there,
yeah, I'm going to carry on down here. See what there is down here. Broderie anglaise. What's dentelle, Jacqueline?
And lace.
Dentelle. Oh, lots of lace. Broderie anglaise.
Heels for shoes.
Heels for shoes. Laces. Sets. Chemin de table for table places. Oh, that's nice. Rick-rack, is that what you call it? Gross grain. Wow. These lovely little colours, look at that. Isn't that lovely? A little kiddie's collared. A little thing for to put on a kiddie's dress, top of a dress. Collars, these are all collars. Look at those. Collars. Wow. Ribbons. Elastics. Elastic. Threads. Magazines. They'll all be in French though. Fabrics. Cushions. Wools. That's a nice one. I quite like those. €1. Not that I knit very often, but very nice. And then here we have the fabrics. On the Tuesday, we went to Angoulême Cathedral to see the treasures. Apparently they only allow you to see the treasures every now and again, and they're in a special vault. Apparently somebody had once broken into them and stole some crowns, but it was really nice to see these treasures. They're amazing was what they had. I think they'd gathered them in from all the other churches, and there was this fantastic display of all the treasures. I'll see if I can find a picture to put up for you to see. And in the evening we decided to go for a meal, but unfortunately, because I think it was a Sunday and it being August, apparently in August everything closes in Angoulême. It's not really classed as a tourist town. All the tourists go to the coast, to the towns in the coast, so it wasn't classed as a tourist town, and so all the better restaurants were closed. So instead we actually ate in the street in Angoulême, and I'll put you a little video, a short video up. We ate in the street in Angoulême, which kind of annoyed the French, my sister's stepson and stepdaughter, because they wanted somewhere better. But to us, we thought it was fantastic, sitting in the street eating meals. We just loved it. It was absolutely lovely. Then the next day we went to, the next day it was incredibly hot, and we decided to go and visit the town of, and I can't remember what the town was, I'll put it up there. Beautiful town.
That's private.
Someone lives there. Probably an Englishman. Honestly.
And this is the other side of the bridge. Looking at the houses.
Absolutely wonderful little, it was not even a town, it was a village. We went to visit the village of, and I can't remember, it's there, and it had beautiful river going through it. We had lunch in this restaurant, and in the middle of the village. I think it was run by English people, but it was a really nice meal. Then we went to l'Abrégement, which is a big house set in massive grounds, and they originally had it's basically a big oak forest in the grounds, and in 1999 there was an amazing storm and 15,000 trees were knocked down. So what they did was they got famous sculptors to come and do something with what they to make something out of all the wood that was lying, and the sculptors included the British artist Andy Goldsworthy, an American sculptor called Joel Shapiro, and Anthony Gormley, who is an English artist, and also one by Andy Goldsworthy called The Pool of Light. And I'll quickly show you in here the places that we went to see these sculptures.
Very good, this, you know. Optical illusion-y type thing.
And with light, isn't it? Bring your physics O-level class and then you could teach them it.
I bet this is lovely when the sun sets and the moon comes out.
beautiful. But we were more or less about the only ones there because it was so hot. And even the lady whose place it was, she said, "Oh, I can't believe you come to see these." And we said, "Why?" And she said, "It's too hot." She said, "Everybody's gone to the beach." It was just unbelievably hot, and I'll even show you how red I was by the end of the walk. It was just a short walk, but I just, oh, every step was a killer. So then on the way back, we stopped for an ice cream. Then we went to visit my sister's stepson, who has just moved from Paris to Angoulême with his wife. His kids are all grown up, and he is he does animations. He went for a course when he was about 16 in Angoulême, and somebody saw how good he was, and they asked him if he'd like to do animations. And he does animations. I think he does the background animations for either Chinese or Japanese cartoons, and they are really nice. And one day when I was there the last time, he said, "Oh, you can have my little book full of drawings." And I said, "Well, don't you want it?" And he said, "Oh," he said, "I'm always using these books." And he said, "Every time I go in the train to work in Paris," he said, I'm always drawing. And I just thought you might like to see some of the drawings that he does. I'll see if I I filmed around his little, he's got a little shed in the bottom of the garden. It's just a little house they live in, and I filmed around there. He has absolutely loads of cars. He must use them for doing his animations. You've just got to see all of this. Planes and trains. Look at all of this. And then down to here, where he does his air fix. Isn't that marvellous? And then he's got his computers. Look. Then the next day we went shopping, and I wanted to take you to see a fabric shop, but unfortunately by the time we'd gone and done our shopping for presents for the grandchildren, the shops had closed. And I was just walking up to the fabric shop, and the lady was closing the door, and she said, "Bonjour madame, à l'après-midi, à 3 heures." But unfortunately we couldn't stay because we had to get back to, we had my sister's granddaughter calling in to see us. That particular day, Angoulême was having a mini cinema festival, a bit like Cannes, the Cannes festival, but this is the one where they have films. It's a film festival, and they have films all over the town in different places during the day, and the film stars come attend them, a bit like they do in Cannes, but it's very downbeat. They come in denims and normal clothes, not dressed up. And all through the town they have speakers where you can actually hear them being interviewed, and it's coming over the loudspeakers. So wherever you go in the town you can hear them being interviewed. And so of course we couldn't drive into town, so my sister dropped us off at the top of Angoulême is built, it's a fortified town, it's built high up. So she dropped us off, and we were going to get the bus back to where she lived. And then she rang us and said, "You won't be able to get the bus because the bus doesn't run it through the town because of the festival." So we said, oh, we'll walk down to the bottom and get the bus at the bottom. And so we were going to do that, but when we got to the bus stop at the bottom, it was in full sun, and I was bright red again, and I just said, I am not stopping here. It's just too hot. So I said, come on, it's only only 1.2 miles or 2.6 kilometers or something. I can't remember how it was. And I said, we'll walk. So we walked in the shade, but oh, I was absolutely red by the time I got there. Absolutely. And I had to go straight I had to go and get a shower straight away. It was just unbelievably hot, and I'm not used to it. I think I've told you it all. Oh no, I missed the most important thing out. My sister, she's a hoarder. My sister's a hoarder. And I said to her, I was telling her she was asking me about my sewing, about how I was doing sewing. And she said, I've got one of your dresses that you made when you did your fashion and design course. And I said, have you? And she said, yes. She says, it's upstairs. And, well, she's got everything. She's kept dresses and everything from when she was about 20 in her 30s. And I'm one of these people who says, all right, it's past it, gone, get rid of it. And she brought this dress out, and my eyes just goggled, because I suddenly realised, yes, you're right. It was one of the dresses that I made in this course, and I got a good grade for it. And before I show you it, in those days, you couldn't buy stuff online. You rarely bought from far away. You went to your local shops for fabric, and there weren't many local shops. And the two big ones in Newcastle, I used to go to Newcastle, was John Lewis and Phoenix. John Lewis's fabrics was beautiful, but they were often too expensive, and I couldn't afford it because I was raising kids. And so I used to go to Phoenix, and then you kind of restricted on what there was. You got what you could. And this fabric was a crepe de chine in pink, a dusky pink, like a yogurt pink. It looks more of a dirty pink now, and I don't know if that's age or whether it was that colour to start with, or whether I've seen so many pretty pinks now that it doesn't look as nice then. But this, I'll show you what it looked like. And I've got it on the model here as well, just to let you see what it looks like on the model. Now that, ladies, was me when I was in my 30s. It's a bit puckered here because this what do you call it? It's a bit puckered there because this body form is a little bit on the it's a bit on the tight side across the bust, and I can't pull it down very well there. But basically, smocked top, smocked yoke. The top was smocked. It's a crepe de chine. It's dusky pink with little tinges of brown. To me it looks like it's dirty, but it isn't. Smocked. The yoke was smocked, and it was smocked on the back as well, on both sides on the back. I made a belt with a smocked section in the front, and then the cuffs were made with a smocked section there. It had a little rouleau loop, and then the little button there. But do you know what else they made us do? We weren't allowed to machine sew the zip. It had to be hand sewn, and apparently it was hand sewn because that's what you did in couture classes. Everything with couture is hand sewn. I open there. You can just see the hand stitching there, and the type of needle we had to use when we hand sewed anything was called a between, and it was very, very, very tiny needle. But I used it so often that I really liked using it. I thought it was great. I used to enjoy using the between. And the hem was hand sewn. The sleeves, everything was hand sewn. And like I say, it's a thin dress. That was me. That was me when I was a young girl. Slim as anything. I thought it was, it just jogged those memory cells, and I just went, oh yes, I remember that. I remember that with the yoke, with the beautiful smocking, because I had a phase where I used to love smocking, and all my all my little girls' dresses, my daughter's dresses had smocking on them, and I thought it was lovely. I used to do different colours of thread and everything. I loved smocking. It's something maybe I ought to try doing it again, really. Anyway, I'm going to stop because I've probably ranted on far too much, and I'll say bye and catch you next time. Bye.